Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Y'all like the content I'm dropping, the direction that my channel is going in? I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with other people you think may benefit from them, alright? Like I said in my previous videos, man, I'm trying to build a community, man. And I mean, seriously, if you watch my stuff, I want you to be able to gain something from it. It's not just to make you laugh or, I ain't over here just thirsty for views and every single 5 seconds checking my shit just to, I'm trying to go viral. Nah, like if I wanted to do that, then I'd probably have to bring on a fine female or something that's lower thinking that would make everybody go, oh man, you hear about the channel? Bro, he had a bad chick on it. I already know. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to actually drop some content so that when y'all look, think about it, and do your research, you come to enlightenment. That's the goal of my channel. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Today's topic is going to be why you should read daily. Alright? I know we live in a world where everybody on their phone. I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes I'm on my phone and like I said in other videos, I catch myself and I'm like, what am I doing right now? What am I gaining? Stop it. Isn't there something I could be doing that's productive? Alright? So reading is like a lost art. And especially if you think about ordering actual books, most people don't do that. They'll tell you, man, get a Kindle. But I'm trying to do anything that reduces my time in front of a screen. Like seriously, I just got another book the other day. I got all my books in this drawer right here, packed. Seriously, packed. And like I was like a little kid when I finally got this joint right here. This from Robert Greene. Look, all this is game. All this is knowledge going straight into my brain, yo. You gotta love it. And I'm trying to tell y'all reasons why you need to start reading too. Alright, so the article that I took this from can be found in the description box below. And there's pretty much 10 reasons why the author stresses that you should read. So the first thing is going to be mental stimulation. Alright. By reading books, this will slow the progress and or prevent diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. The brain is like any other muscle in the body, and it requires exercise to remain strong. So, like, think back when you were in school. I know some of y'all hated school. I didn't really like school either, just for the simple fact that I saw that it wasn't really about educating me or making me think critically, or it didn't answer any of the questions that I really had deep in my mind. It was more teaching me something, and then I had to spit verbatim what they taught back to me. So I realized, man, this is not even really about expanding my consciousness. It's more about like limiting me into a box, and however good I can remain in that box determines my grade. All right, so but when you read like a book, let's say there were some books that you might have been into, your mind is so much more active. Like, think about it. You can close your eyes and you can imagine what the character looks like. Your brain will play with you when you're reading a good book by trying to solve questions that lie within the storyline. And this picturing, this imagery that you see in your brain from hearing the beautiful description from an author, how they use their words to paint a nice picture, and your brain is able to actually see that on the wall. That's something you can't really do when you're watching a movie or something. It's pretty much like your senses are dulled and your brain gets to be lazy because everything is being presented in front of you. The sound effects are right there. The color, the actual actor, he's right in front of you. The plot, it's developing right in front of you without you having to do anything except just lay back and sit there. And if you guys see about my last video, which was called Cognitive Dissonance, I talk about how when you watch TV, your brain goes into an alpha mind frame or alpha wave, which is basically meaning that your conscious mind is dropped and your subconscious mind is full on alert, recording everything, whether it be good, bad, or whatever you disagree with. It doesn't matter. The subconscious mind is way sharper than you guys think, and it takes in all this information. But when you read, you have a balance between your subconscious mind, which is taking in the information and recording it as such, but you have your conscious mind, which is imagining and thinking of the colors and thinking of the smells and putting your brain into a spot where you're physically in the book or into the story. You can't do that when you watch TV. So that's the reason why your brain is stimulated, right? Second, it reduces stress. Like it's almost impossible to remain stressed about what happened in your day if you actually get into a book that you're interested in reading, because every page that you're flipping, you're getting deeper into what's in front of you. You're present in the now versus sitting here stressing about what happened already that you have no power about. And another thing is, when you read, it takes your brain into another realm, a realm that can't really be described, like let's say with the physical, because like I said, your conscious mind is now on par with your subconscious. That's a beautiful place to be. It's like, right, that line between the yin and yang, you know what I'm saying? You got both sides, and that line that's in the middle, reading kind of puts you right there by activating the left and right brain. Knowledge. All right, so everything you read fills your head with new infos that may come in handy someday. Plus, the truth is that once you learn something, it cannot be taken away from you. So, case in point, like let's say you read a book about how to invest. Even if you lost all your money just from some extenuating circumstance, like let's say, I don't know, whatever happened, you know what I mean, a flood or whatever, and now you have to rebuild your house, the insurance won't pay, and you're using all the money that you actually had invested to build your new house. That was out of your control. But the thing is, that knowledge that you took in to amass that original amount of wealth, you can always use that to get it back. You guys ever heard about like Donald Trump, how he went bankrupt numerous times, or how some millionaires say, if you took it all away from me in 6 years, I'd have it back? The reason why is because knowledge can't be taken away from you. Just like cool experiences can, you know? That's why I say it's best to invest in certain things like education, or invest in travel, or invest in your health. Because these are all things that, though they may be intangible, those experiences, that investment in your health as well as your education or your knowledge, can't be taken away. You could be put into a jail cell, locked up, whole body locked up, but your brain will still remember when you went to the Dominican Republic. It will still remember the advice that you got about the stock market. And it will also still probably feel good and healthy from all the times that you went to the dentist and made sure your teeth were healthy. All the times that you spent time getting a nice haircut, now your hair is on point. All the times that you went to the doctor and had the checkup and they saw, hey, you have an issue here, and you got it corrected via surgery or, changing up your diet or what have you. So, moving on. Vocabulary expansion. Yo, it's just awesome being articulate and well spoken, because this is a great help in any profession or social situation. Plus, being well versed or well read will give you a self-confidence boost. It also makes it easier to grasp new concepts, like learning a new language. Like, I can definitely attest to this, because when you're learning a new language, the first thing you have to do is you have to get a good understanding of the vocab. And then, of course, you have to go into the grammatics and sentence structure and the customs and basically the habits of the culture that you're in, how they speak, you know what I mean? So, when I learned German, for example, since I have a very extensive English vocabulary, it really made it that much easier when it was time for me to learn German and I had to translate the word. It made it real quick for me when I would see a word like, for example, zuverlässig, which is like one of my favorite words, zuverlässig. It sounds so cool, right? That really means reliable, trustworthy. But like, let's say I didn't understand what reliable was in English, then that would be double the work, because now I would have to figure out what is reliable, and then I'd have to remember that as I look at the word zuverlässig. So what would be the chance that I would actually use that in a conversation if I had to do double the work? My mind might forget, or I might think, I ain't gonna say reliable. So now that's one less word that I'm saying in the native language. And another note as far as the language. Since I speak with so many big words, and it's not even crazy how many big words, I could use way more if I actually was on it. I just don't want my videos to be too complicated. But honestly, I could be very, very wordy if I decided to be. You probably get that from my speech already. But even in German, people tell me, like, they're impressed by how I speak. So they're like, dang, where did you learn German? I'm like, oh, at the university. They're like, dang, I can tell because you say words that I don't even say as a native speaker. So, it just helps you by being well read and having an expensive vocabulary. Also, when you talk to, let's say, your boss or anybody at your job, the first thing, especially me, I got tats on my neck. I carry myself a certain way, so people don't really know what's gonna come from this guy. But then when I hit them with some of my speech, they're usually impressed at the word choices that I bring out in my sentences. Memory improvement. That goes without saying. Why? Because when you read, the activity itself forges new synapses, which are pathways, in your brain, and also reinforces or strengthens the old ones. All right. So that's one of the problems that you actually think about with dementia or Alzheimer's. The problem is the synapses and the pathways in the brain are not being used. So they start to die off and they require less oxygen and blood flow because they're not being used. And if you think about that collectively across the brain, you have so much inactivity, and now you have a loss of blood and oxygen, which is like food to the brain. Now, when you're sitting there reading an intense book, and now it's getting heavy in the plot, of course, your brain is at maximum potential. Like, you guys ever, like, read, for example, a book or been studying or whatever, and you got to take a minute because it's like, man, my head feels full. That's actually good for your brain. It's just like when you go lift weights and you're like, man, I gotta take a break, man. My arms are killing me. Yeah, that's kind of good that your arms are killing you versus you not doing anything and then suffering from atrophy, which would be your muscles actually getting weaker and starting to die because they're not being strengthened or used. Stronger analytical and critical thinking skills. All right, so using your imagination while reading an interesting novel to figure out characters and or the plot, and or predict what may unfold, transitions well over into everyday life. It results in a sharper mind that will decipher more from and about the real world. So, dude, I don't care what you bring up. You could talk to me about politics. You could talk to me about, I don't even know, dude, entertainment, propaganda, social dynamics, racism, classism, history and antiquity, religion. You can bring up any topic with me, right? But since I've read so many books in my life, I really feel like just on the fact that my brain is used to slicing through information, whatever you bring to me, I'll probably have some intelligent way of communicating back. Even if I don't know totally about the subject, I can easily figure some stuff out just based on what you tell me, and we can have an interesting dialogue back and forth. That all comes from reading. Improve focus and concentration. Like, that goes without saying, bro. Today's world has spawned a new breed of humans who have very short attention spans. In a 5-minute period, your attention can be scattered in multiple directions, which lowers your productivity and is synonymous with ADD-like behavior. Reading captures the traveling mind. So, think about it. What's going on with you right now? I doubt you. Most people don't even watch my videos all the way through. Now, it could be said, oh, you're not entertaining enough. Well, that could be the case. I mean, I don't have no music. I don't have a fat booty behind me twerking. I don't have any of the things that really capture people's attention nowadays. But when I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure there are some people who hear my videos all the way through and take from it. And if I touch one person, I'm happy. But most people have a very short attention span. They can't even really listen to you without their eyes going everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Look at most people whenever they're left to their own devices. What they doing? On to the next video. They can't even watch the video through. They already clicking on the next thing. This is like dopamine. You're like a dopamine fiend in your head, and you don't even realize it. But when you sit back and read a book and get engaged into the words, your conscious brain starts to take over, and it works synonymous with the subconscious. And it can have you actually pulled into a book for maybe even hours at a time. And what this does is when you actually drop the book, you will have laser-like precision, and you will be able to focus in on more than you could have without reading. Better writing skills. I mean, it works hand in hand. So this is like a spin-off of the expanded vocabulary that we talked about earlier. You also will have a better cadence, fluidity, and structure of your sentences because you're used to reading different authors who are all been edited and published, by professionals. So when you read often, your sentence structure will tend to follow the fluidity of what you were reading previously. So it's important to like get good quality books and follow them as a little bit of a template, because without even thinking about it, you will begin to sound more intelligent the more you read. Inner peace and tranquility. The solitude and silence while reading has a calming effect on the brain. And what did I say about, I have a video talking about silence is golden. Silence really does synchronize the brain. Hence why all great people who achieved monumental things, one thing that they usually have in common is the practice of meditation, mindfulness, slowing down the brain, allowing the brain to kind of filter itself out and cleanse itself, drop all the negative energy, and be in a moment of stillness, being in the now. That helps you out, right? With calm tranquility. And last but not least, you have free entertainment. Because these days, you don't even really necessarily need to buy books. If you have a local library, you could just get a library card, go up there, rent books, take that little 2 hours on a Sunday and just catch up on a bunch of knowledge, man. Like there's like one day I will have like an extensive library, bro. I love books, man. And this is just all the reasons why you should read daily. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll holler back.